Hey everybody, we're back, the Coon Prairie Ramblers, and we got some good confabulating here going on country music. And we was talking about Hank Williams was it Jr.?
No.
There's a big difference there, right?
A whole generation.
Yeah. But what was you saying about Hank Williams?
I said he's probably the father of the modern. I don't say modern. He
father of the real country music.
Yeah, he's the father of real country music that went up into probably the 70s and early 80s. And then there was like George Jones, I think, probably took over after him as a...
He became the stepfather?
The stepson of country. And he changed his sound a little bit. And then, and then you got into outlaw country, and you got into now...
Outlaw, and who were the outlaws? Waylon?
Willie.
Tom Paul Glacier and the Glacier Brothers.
And a lot of people don't like him, but David Allen Coe definitely was. He's never been accepted.
He's not from mixed company.
Yeah, he's not accepted in.
Did y'all ever see the Hank Williams story?
The one with George Hamilton?
George Hamilton, yeah.
That was pretty corny.
I saw that. That was way back in like the early 60s when that came out.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was watered down pretty good.
Yeah.
But Hank was a very prolific songwriter. I mean, his career was brief, but he was just so prolific. He just cranked the songs out left and right that are still being recorded.
Yeah.
And recognized today.
Oh yeah, and even the basic sound and the tempo and the very tempo of country music, based on I think what he was really doing.
Now, was Patsy Cline different, or because she was in the same era of him?
Well, she was in the 50s, yeah.
She brought a different sound because, women had their big breakthrough with, people like Kitty Wells and the first pioneers, women of country music. But when Patsy came along in the 50s, she had a sound she brought the torch singer sound into country music, which it was popular in the 40s by, women.
Peggy Lee.
Popular music. Yeah. Where she brought that sound into country music. And, of course, she did honky-tonk music, too, but... she made a big splash.
But some of Patsy Cline's music I never thought of as being country, like A Wayward Wind, and of course she was covering other people's songs, but the South of the Border. Of course, I guess that's country. But
you take songs like Crazy, you take songs like He's Got You, or what's that one? Hurt Me Now, Get It Over. They sound like torch songs, but they were played on country music.
And Crazy was a Willie Nelson song, or is a Willie Nelson song. He wrote it and she performed it.
She didn't really want to
record it.
So
Willie has transgressed. He's morphed. He's crossed over several of these generations here, right?
Willie can and will pick and sing with anybody because he doesn't believe in barriers in music, and I'm the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to pigeonhole Willie.
That's right.
And Johnny Cash. You've left Johnny Cash completely out of this equation.
Some people, they didn't really have a place they could put him, so they just kind of stuck him in the middle and let them fit in wherever they could.
And I don't know that truly that you could really say that Johnny Cash was anybody's style. I mean, any one style of music. I mean, did he
create his style?
Pretty much his guitar player sort of did.
His guitar player, Luther Perkins, created the boom chicka boom sound, which he called the Carter lick. He compared it to some Carter family music, and that's all they could play. They were really simple musicians, but it sounded so different and bizarre that it took off. that was theirs.
Who was this Luther guy?
Luther Perkins,
because he had a song called "Luther Played the Boogie Woogie."
Luther's Boogie is the name of the song. I know Luther's widow, and I know his daughter.
Yeah,
I've met them a number of times, and I'm good friends with them. They're good people.
That's a hard song to sing. Luther played the boogie woogie. Luther played the boogie.
One of the writers for Rolling Stone magazine was interviewing Luther Perkins about his sound, and it's simple. I mean, he's not running all over the. You ever watch some of these guitar players? They're running from the top of the guitar down to the body, playing licks and doing all kind of gyrations and everything. And they said, "Well, why do you just sit there and do that little simple thing? You don't move around very much." He said, "Well, they're all searching for something, but I've already found it."
That's right. They're all over the place. But going back to John Denver, we were talking about him a minute ago. He burst on the scene with this "Take Me Home, Country Roads," and he was considered country music. And he won the Entertainer of the Year for the CMAs in, I think it was 1974. And he wasn't there that night. He was on by satellite in case he won. And, they announced all the people that were nominated, and they showed their pictures, and they showed him waiting somewhere. He was in another country, I think, performing, and he was announced as the winner. But the man who making the announcement was Charlie Rich, who had won the year before for Behind Closed Doors and The Most Beautiful Girl, that album, Behind Closed Doors. And Charlie Rich couldn't believe it. And you can pull it up on YouTube and watch the video of him announcing the winner. And as he does that, he reaches in his pocket. You know how they open the envelope and take out the paper?
Yeah.
And he reaches in his pocket, pulls out a cigarette lighter, and he lights it on fire right there in the podium in front of everybody on live TV, 1 billion people watching. And here's John Denver. They flashed him. He can't see it because he's not watching TV. He's there smiling like he's got good sense or whatever. And that announcement is just burning up in front of him.
I got to go pull that
That's
up.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I love Charlie Rich.
Very, very interesting.
Charlie was a rock and roller that started out in country with Sam Phillips, and he was in his stable at Sun Studios. And Charlie played a lot of piano for a lot of famous people, but he went on to have a lot of hits.
And what kind of country was that? Because that was different.
The 50s?
Charlie Rich?
Well, talking about the rockabilly, that's another genre. The rockabilly, we know with Elvis, Carl Perkins, and Jerry Lee, and Johnny Cash, and Roy Orbison, and Charlie Rich, people like that. They had their whole different sound there.
Okay, so
they were fusing rock and roll with country.
Huh.
It's called rockabilly, and some groups still do a little bit of it.
And Wanda Jackson is probably the originator or the queen of rockabilly. She's still doing it.
That's right.
She's almost on a whole new popularity that she probably never even enjoyed.
I just
in her
recently
heyday.
discovered Wanda Jackson. I mean, I knew of her.
She's amazing.
But I pulled her up, and I was listening. I'm thinking, she has a beautiful voice.
And that was different for that time. I mean, to see a woman singing like that.
And to have a woman that was so on her own, you know what I mean? I mean, she just was doing her thing.
Yeah.
She wasn't relying on anybody else to carry her. I mean, she was Wanda Jackson. I mean, she wasn't.
And I just recently saw, I mean, she's much older now, and it basically sounds about the same. Wanda Jackson, yeah.
Is she still out there?
Yeah.
She's been around a long
Probably
time.
enjoying more popularity now than she ever has.
Probably being appreciated more.
Uh-huh.
Well, you have to appreciate the singers of yore, no matter who they were, if you like them or not, because their stuff got airplay after they had been in the studio recording and re-recording and re-recording, because you had a whole band in there with the microphones, and you did it until you got it exactly right. Today, they go in there, they'll do the guitar guy, they'll add the drums, they'll add the piano later, and then later on the singer will come in, and the singer has auto-tune, where if they're off a little bit, it makes them perfect. You can add background singer, and you put it together piecemeal, and here's your big hit. But if you listen to the stuff from, say, 40s, 50s, 60s, or whatever, that's a bunch of guys in a room with microphones, and they did it till they got it right. And once in a while, you'll hear a fret squeaking on a guitar, or a mislick, or whatever, but that's as good as they could get it. And you got to appreciate that, and then not compare it to, listen how good country music sounds today.
Yeah.
Because anybody can do it today.
What do you appreciate about, what particular thing draws you, say, with country music? I mean, is it the voice? Is it the sound? What is
Stories.
it? The stories.
I grew up reading books and my parents telling me stories and stuff, and I've always loved a good storyteller. And to me, country music is the genre that has the most stories in it, and you can get lost in the songs.
And we didn't even mention Tom T. Hall.
Greatest storyteller of them all.
I'm sorry, Tom. Tell us
Sorry,
about
buddy.
Tom T. He's
And
a
we're
great
about out of
storyteller.
town
We got
again.
about 30 seconds here. We might
Okay.
have to roll over and do some more country music
Wow.
talking here, but you could go on about old T for a long time. But anyhow, we'll do that if you want. You guys want to come back to country music?
Well,
Sounds
do
good.
something.
All right, we will return to the scene of the crime in just a moment. We
No.
can do that. We're ready? Okay, we got 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, see ya.
Adios.